You're welcome back on Wake Up Nigeria. So, on Motivation today, we have been joined by Fola Adelesi, a professional public and inspirational speaker. Are you there? Can you hear me, Mr. Fola Daniel?
Yes, I can hear you. It's a pleasure to join you today.
Thank you very much. As a trained communication expert and a renowned author with more than 5 published books, he'll be talking about opinions. Now, according to him, opinions don't pay bills. So he'll be giving us reasons why we shouldn't take other people's opinions too seriously. So welcome to the show again, Mr. Fola Daniels. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. My pleasure to be with you again.
And you too. All right. So why shouldn't I be too concerned about people's opinions about me?
Okay, the first and the most important thing you need to note is that there are people who spend too much time thinking about the opinions of other people. What will people think? What will people say? You want to build a house? What will people think? What will people say? You want to buy a car? What will people think? What will people say? You want to buy a phone that's going to work for you? What will people think? What will people say? Anything we want to do, most times, a lot of people just, the next thing that comes to their mind is, what will people think? What will people say? And you bet that what will people think? What will people say has been the biggest impediment to the success of so many people. They have the capacity, they have the wherewithal, they have the energy to make that thing happen, but they've been thinking about the opinions of other people. You need opinions if you're trying to improve on what you have done. You need opinions if you're trying to make something better. But if the opinions are going to impede your progress, if the opinions are not going to allow you to execute what you have already planned, then you shouldn't focus on those opinions, because opinions of other people will not pay your bills. Right. It's the results that you get that will pay your bills.
Okay. Now, but that seems easier said than done, because in the culture of society that we live in today, what people say behind you or when you're not present is your general standing in the community. And this is something that we carry on our shoulders all the time. It's very hard to say, I'm not going to think about that while I'm going about my daily business or whatever it is I'm about to endeavor in.
That's right, and that's one of the reasons why we're telling people that opinions don't pay. You see where opinions have gotten us to? Take, for example, before the pandemic, we used to have several parties, and if someone is having a party, they bring an expensive material or an expensive fabric to you and ask you to buy it so that you can come to the party. You have more important things to do at home, but you say to yourself, oh, what would they say if I don't go to the party? Oh, what would they say if I don't buy the fabric? And you don't have the means within your budget to buy that fabric. You know that there are more pressing things, or you have an investment plan. The price for the fabric can go into better things, but because you are more focused on what will people think, what will people say, you focus on buying the fabric. So you are pleasing a lot of people to your own detriment. Imagine you have 500 people in your office working with you. If all of them keep bringing a fabric to you at 30,000 naira each, how many fabrics will you buy in a year? Or let's say you attend a party every year and you're every week, and you're spending 30,000 naira on each fabric, and there are 52 weeks in a year. How much would you have spent buying the fabric?
I think you're targeting a very special set of people there.
So most times we focus on what people are going to say, and we keep killing ourselves. You know, sometimes people are buying cars not because they can afford them, but they are buying the cars because of opinions of other people. People say, oh, you're now a big man, you should own a car. And then people go and borrow the money they don't have, the money they can't afford to pay back to buy some of those cars. People say, oh, you shouldn't be looking this way. You should be, shopping in this particular part of town. You need to live in this side of town. And when you have issues paying your rent, they won't come to your aid. You must understand that the opinions of other people will not give you peace of mind. You need to do what gives you peace of mind and not focus on the opinions of other people. You need to live in places that you can afford. I've been to places and people say, oh, you should be living in this part of town. I'm sure you've heard that before. Say, oh yeah, you should
all the
be
time.
living in this part of town. And if anybody tells you should be living in this part of town, tell them, are you going to give me the rent?
Sure.
If anybody tells you should be driving this kind of car, tell them, are you going to buy it for me? If you buy it for me, I don't have a problem with that. Now, I understand what some of them are trying to say, but you should not focus on their opinions and drive yourself based on their opinions, because that's not how you're going to sort the bills when you get into trouble.
And very often these decisions come with composite demands. You want to move from this poor part of town to that high-class everything else escalates from how much you buy your daily
Yeah,
shawarma to how much you pay
yes,
for your
because you're
child's
going
school
to try
fees and
to
everything.
impress. Yeah, that's because you're going to try to impress
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
who don't know what you have. You're going to try to impress people who really don't know how much you earn.
True.
And you are the one under pressure. They are not the one under pressure. The best they will do is once you say, "Oh, I've moved to Victoria Airlines," you say, "Wow, congratulations! Now you're a big
And
man."
that's where
But
it
when your
ends.
landlord comes, your landlord does not collect rent or does not exchange reputation for rent.
So, Fola Daniel,
Your
so
landlord doesn't care.
how would it, what do we need to do to, or how is it possible to change this perception for people? What do they need to
The
start
first
thinking
step
of first?
the first step you need to take is to make a resolve never to take a decision based on popular opinions alone. That's one. Two, you must ensure that you are not refusing to do what needs to be done based on the opinions of other people. If you can live in a poorer part of town for now and save up for a bigger day, please, that's what you must do, not minding what other people are going to say. If 1 million people come to you asking, for example, some people know me. Once you talk about fabrics for parties, they will not even bother to bring it to me again
Don't
because I
bring it.
won't buy. They won't bother bringing it. So you need to take a stand because at the end of the day, it's just going to be you, maybe your wife and your children. All those other people who think this is how you should look, this is the way you should dress, they're not going to be there. So you must take a stand, never to buy things just because of what people think, never to refuse to do something just because people are going to say this. If you really want to do something, go ahead and do it because people will still talk. If you don't do it, people will talk. If you do it, people will talk. So just do what makes you happy and let them talk.
So all well and good. So yeah, don't make those decisions based on what people or the opinion people have or perception people have of you. However, are there very unique circumstances or situations where it is absolutely important that you take that into consideration? Is it rare? Are there?
I agree with you. I agree with you. But sometimes people take it to the extreme. It's very important for you to be able to see when people are trying to blackmail you. There's sometimes we don't understand that we're spending on the basis of emotional blackmail. People blackmail you into spending the money you don't have. People blackmail you into taking decisions that you should never take. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you shouldn't respect the opinions of anyone. I'm not saying you shouldn't respect the opinion. There are certain things when the opinions of friends, family matter actually. And once you know that these people have your genuine interest at heart, yes, their opinion counts. But when people blackmail you into taking decisions, into doing things that you really cannot afford, that's when opinions don't count. And you need to be careful because you're going to be left with the trouble at the end of the day.
So as a people, and I mean generally now as Nigerians, how long do you think it's going to take before we start to change that perception? It's been generations since we've been schooled to the thought of, hey, once you get your first money, you buy a car and then move and then, get married and then, all of that. How long will it take for us to change that perception as a people, as a culture?
The minute you realize that you have a goal and that goal must be achieved, it's just 1 second. And really, it won't be that easy, but make sure you win the first battle. The first battle is with denying the first fabric that comes. Once you deny that, it encourages you and you know that you can deny the next one. Or maybe you used to buy 10 fabrics from different people before. You can reduce it and start buying only 5. That's the first victory. If you used to buy 20, reduce it, buy only 4. Cut down on those frivolous things.
Okay,
and
frivolous, huh?
Just do something because you want to do it, not because others think you must do it. That's the whole essence of it, and that's how you're going to succeed. You do something because it's what is to be done.
All right, final question here, a fun one. What do you drive? It's a big car.
I don't drive a big car because I really don't care. I don't care about the opinions of people.
It's all good. Well, thank you very much. I really enjoyed you for Motivations this morning. Looking forward to having you back on the show here on Wake Up Nigeria. Do stay tuned, everybody else, because when we get back, it's going to be the 3rd hour. It's going to be fun. And we're here all the way till the end. Stay tuned.